Jessica's apparently
I'm doing
fine.
okay. What's up? How you guys doing?
We're doing well, but I have to talk to you about something that Housem did to me this morning.
What did he do?
Okay, so we get together.
Yeah.
It varies time-wise, hour, 2 hours before the show. Just trading messages about who's on and when are they on and that kind of stuff. And we just send links in terms of things we're going to talk about. So Housem and I had communicated a couple of times. So dude then sends me a message. I'm going for a bike ride. Be back in an hour. All right.
Okay.
Now, that in and of itself is no big deal because we still had plenty of time to, continue prep. In fact, we did some outstanding prep after we got back. But the problem is he's sending me images, photos along the way, different bodies of water and a beach. One of them, a selfie of him in his helmet, smiling ear to ear.
And a tank top and a pair of shorts.
Yeah, and of course he's doing this because he feels for me. He feels for me here in the frigid Midwest, and I really appreciated that, man.
You know what? Here's the deal: is I spend most of my time thinking about others and trying to design my life around what it is they need from me.
And you knew I would because you and I, brothers from another mother. I mean, we. You knew I would instantly view this as being able to live vicariously through you.
That's exactly right. I figured a picture of the absolutely cloud-free, slightly warm back bay, and then 15 or 20 minutes later, another picture of the Pacific Ocean and the sand and the beach and the pier. I just thought that would be good. Although I will say this, man, on my way back up from the beach through the back bay to my place, I was going to take a picture through the back bay up into the local mountains so that you could see the snow on the top. But there was too much smog and you couldn't see the mountains very well.
All right, so then we have to carry this just a tad further. So then, both of us generally put a post on Facebook, who the show, just reminding people to listen and tell their friends and what time we're on and who the guest is going to be and so forth. So I said in the kind of promo in the post that I'm not sure if Housem will show up or not because he's somewhere in sunny Southern Cali on a bike ride. Who knows if he's going to show. So then Jen Van Laar post, makes a comment, he's hashtag caring like that. Well, Housem gets back. Not only does he post another picture, but he actually posts, I don't know if you got it from Google Maps or whatever, but a map of his route.
And I burned 900 calories in just over an hour over 18 miles or whatever.
Final comment on this. And then it gets, So today's guest, again, James Riley, then he puts up a pic. He says, outside my window just now. So again, another beautiful scene, from somewhere, we'll talk about that, but in Cali. And so then I put out mine. So I found this old, I don't know what, this old black and white where the cars are completely covered with snow and some dude's trying to dig out his VW minibus.
Oh, dude, that was a hilarious picture. Now, the only reason I knew that wasn't your VW minibus is that I know that you've got little hemp curtains hanging from the back windows.
That's exactly right. I used to have those kind of stick-on like flowers, that they had from like the late 60s, early 70s, but those have worn off. I mean, those are long gone.
Right. I got to say this, man. One of my favorite things on the planet Earth is Highway 1 from San Luis Obispo up to Carmel that basically just hugs the unbelievably rugged central coast of California. Mm-hmm. And in some cases, it is you, a painted line, and then several hundred feet down to the ocean. I mean, it's
Is that the same thing as the Pacific Highway?
Yeah. PCH,
Yeah.
Pacific Coast Highway.
There we go.
Highway 1.
I do want to drive that sometime.
Oh my gosh, dude! It's if you're slightly inland, you can go from Carmel to San Luis in about 3 hours. Along Highway 1, it's about 4 hours. Because I mean, there are, and you've seen zillions of pictures. I mean, they're in car shows or car advertisements and all kinds of advertisements all the time. Anyway, that little area along there. Especially Big Sur and some of those places is super duper duper hippy dippy Leftyville.
Yeah.
And that road is chock-a-block full of VW microbuses, people living in them, participating in their health regimen via yeah. Anyway, so yeah, that was. I appreciate again you taking care of me today. Okay, so we got a lot of stuff to talk about. I mean, there's a clip I want to play, and again, it's the fallout continues from as a result of Obama being a no-show at Paris. We talked yesterday. Josh Earnest has even said, he would have liked to go on, and we really should have at least sent someone higher up the food chain in the regime. So you have Democrats from Andrea Mitchell to MSNBC this morning. Even I didn't even click on the clip. It's on Washington Free Beacon, but Democrats lining up to hammer, including Jon Stewart last night. I had that post written, by the way, for IJR. And then Viacom pulled it. You couldn't get it anywhere for copyright violation. So, but anyway, last night on The Five, right? Bob Beckel. I would guess most of you know who he is. I like Bob, by the way. They did, and they love him on the show. Supposed to be a big teddy bear, but can say some outrageous things from time to time. Has apologized on a fairly regular basis. All right, so they're doing a segment on again on the march. 3.7 million people, 44 world leaders. Let's just listen. I don't want to steal any of Bob's thunder, but let's just listen to a short clip of how Beckel analyzed the march in Paris against.
On so many things I say, but let me tell you this. I think that march was a foolish waste of time.
Really?
And I'll tell you why. Why they talk about leadership. Well, Barack Obama's got his Air Force in the air bombing ISIS. None of those 40 countries do. He's the one who's killing radical Islamists, and he does use the word. You're right. Should he have gone maybe after all this turmoil's went up? But, the idea that these guys form a terror act like that, and it would gather all these world leaders to the place together in a symbolic gesture that would get you nothing except more terror. Barack Obama, before the rest of these guys had the guts, and they still have the guts, to join a coalition to take on ISIS, he did. That's leadership.
I think France has been pretty aggressive, though, going after radical Islam, haven't they?
Well,
I mean, that's one of the few things the president there is doing right. Let's go to even Josh Earnest kind of admits that maybe they made a mistake. Josh?
I think it's fair to say that we should have sent someone with a higher profile to be there. Had the circumstances been a little bit different, I think the president himself would have liked to have had the opportunity to be there.
He would have liked the opportunity, KG.
Right. So who was the person with higher profile than the invisible man? Because there was nobody there marching with arms linked, marching in solidarity against Islamic extremism. What a missed opportunity from the country that used to be the leader, the most courageous, that one would stand out and that others would feel emboldened and impassioned by and then join in courage. Instead, we were the ones, not first place, second, 41st place, because we were the no-show.
Well, who was the country in there that's taking leadership when we have on them?
Bob, I don't think you can find any.
France has come to support
us. There's no way you can say that he shouldn't have showed up.
The world community coming together saying enough is enough. We will fight Islamic extremism, terrorism, where it happens.
Well, why don't they do it then?
We were a no-show.
Why don't they do it?
I think they will. And you're right.
I think they will.
And you're right in that aftermath. In the aftermath of that protest or that ceremony, those people, those leaders need to go back to their respective countries and say, we are going to fight. We're just not going to lock arms. We're actually going to fight.
It would have been a little awkward.
Can I point something out? Ed Henry asked the right question today. Josh Earnest, frankly, answered that question the best he could.
Right.
And you know what? Oh, great. That was a great answer, Josh. However, with the question that Ed asked was the right question. Well, what was the president doing that he couldn't be there? What was on his schedule that was important? There was nothing on his schedule. There was no official business on the president or the vice president's schedule whatsoever. So, and Josh Earnest said this. He said, I don't know. I didn't ask him. Really?
Yeah. Well,
really?
we never
Is that
know
the
where he
best
is.
you guys can come
We
up
never
with?
know where he is. We still don't know where he was the night of Benghazi. We have no idea what he was doing when that whole thing went down. I mean, he was doing things that were not up to the level, obviously, of what he should have been doing and paying attention to the 3 a.m. phone call or the 2 p.m. march in Paris. And you know what? In the end, it might have been a little bit awkward for Barack Obama to be there because he likes to release people like the Taliban 5 back into the Middle East where they can just come back and train the very people who were going to Syria and going back to France to carry out these attacks. So maybe he shouldn't have been there considering he let them go back.
Okay, Housen. So let's back up the bus. Okay, can you guys hear?
Yeah, it's weird clicky, man.
Yeah, Jessica, can you hear?
I can hear you guys.
Okay, it's back. So Michael, let's back up to the beginning of the clip. Just kind of talk about that part for just a second. What do you think? You know, relative to his silly little, foolish waste of time. I'm sorry, a foolish waste of time. Should he have said that first of all?
Well, you know what? I think it makes good television in terms of should he say that. But I got to say, Mike, this morning on my refreshing, energetic ride, I listened to last night's Mark Levin show, or a portion of it. And, you know, Levin made a couple of interesting points about it. Number one, he absolutely said Obama should have been there. Right? And the fact that we sent our
supposedly the ambassador to France.
Yeah, but the ambassador to France, for the ambassador to France to go, it's a taxi ride, right? I mean, so
well,
big
but
deal.
The thing is, I could be wrong. I don't think I am, but no one has been able. You know, they played Where's Waldo with the crowd and has cited her either.
Okay, that's funny. And so Levin read off the list of all the people that were there, you know, the prime ministers. But then he talked, you know, there was a lot of stuff going on kind of behind the scenes about Mahmoud Abbas and Turkey and Israel, and you know, so Levin was saying, and Levin also talked about the Beckel thing. He goes, yeah, on one hand, Obama should have been there, but in terms of actually doing something, that's the bigger issue. And you know, Ernest came out yesterday and said, you know, I wasn't really aware of where the president was yesterday, and we were sorry we can't be there. And then later he admitted that both the vice president and the president were at home. So my guess, as was Levin's, that they were just home watching football.
Well, the White House said that Obama was watching football Sunday afternoon. It wasn't Ernest. Someone within the White House said that. We talked about that yesterday. Here's and listen. Let's give them being the regime, the benefit of the doubt here. I think Obama should have been there at least. At least Biden. I mean, they sent Biden to Burger King to pick up sandwiches. Okay, at least Biden. At least Biden could have been there. Again, we'll give him the benefit of the doubt there. Eric, my people Holder, was in Paris at the time, but did not show up.
Oh, yeah, right.
Yeah,
right.
So, and here's the deal. The reason I ask about foolish waste of time, I think he probably shouldn't have said that. I think but again, he's Beckel. He's not a government official. But and he talked about it as being symbolic. And I think I put this post up this morning on IJR, and I said I think Beckel his comments create kind of a legitimate question. does, and let's agree that this march, 3.7 million people, 44 world leaders, the whole bit, it was symbolic. I mean, obviously, that's all it could be. The question is, can it possibly have an impact on radical Islam?
Potentially, if they're serious about it. I did hear that Halan got up to leave when Netanyahu was going to speak.